Hi, I'm Steve Bonner, President of Printing Industry Midwest. And I'm here with Dave Kornecki. Dave is the president of his own consulting company called Dual Train Consulting. Dave has been a partner of Printing Industry Midwest for quite some time, helping our members better understand their workforce development options and how to take advantage of the resources that are available to them in that workforce development. Over the last few days, you might have seen a press release that the Minnesota Department of Labor has recognized press operator as a high-wage, high-growth occupation. This is an exciting development, and I want to give a chance of Dave to explain what that means and how it came about.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me. The conversations with PIM and the Department of Labor and Industry go back about a year. So we had consultants come in. We explained to them the need, the history of education kind of going away, the growing need of the industry, and just kind of presented the case to them. So in that year, we initially presented the case. They went back, looked at the data, looked at the opportunity for the print industry here in the state of Minnesota, and agreed, essentially with our initial pitch that we made, that print press operators is a great opportunity for the state of Minnesota. It's a growing industry, providing high wages. It's even higher wages than some of the current occupations that they identified. So it's right there with exactly what they're looking for and what the need is. And then through that, we essentially brought in your members to work with DLI to develop what they call their pyramid scheme, or not pyramid scheme, pyramid, occupational pyramid, right. That more or less identifies all the kind of industry standards that any individual who is trained in this industry would need to know to be an effective, strong press operator.
Great. And press operator certainly is a need that I hear conveyed all the time. Yeah. We have an aging workforce, and our number of trade schools and colleges training press operators has declined quite a bit. Right. So this is a terrific development that's going to allow us to get into action to make sure that we're feeding that need.
Absolutely. And like dual training, the state sees this, employer sees this, is that when you have on-the-job training coupled with a related instruction piece, there's huge opportunities here to really leverage your current workforce, your aging workforce. They're not out yet, but you're able to leverage that knowledge, have some sort of transfer of knowledge to a future workforce. And through this type of model, we see gains in retention, we see gains in just job satisfaction. So it's really what we call a win-win scenario if you can effectively build these types of programs within any individual employer.
Yeah, and now that we've been recognized as a press operator in this capacity, it's now allowed this other program, the pipeline program, to really move into action and become a resource for our industry.
Correct.
Tell us about the next steps now of how pipeline is going to come into play.
Perfect. And so now that the state has recognized press operators as an occupational, high wage, high growth, now there's the opportunity, there's a grant that Office of Higher Ed does. That grant, there's an application process to it, but more or less now that grant makes these employers now eligible who are trying to build their workforce of press operators, gives them an opportunity to partner with a related instruction provider, and then $6,000 will go towards that trainee education, whether it's going towards a certificate or a degree or an associate's type program, or at like a community college, or through another related instruction provider that provides like an industry recognized credential. So there's money now available. Each employer is eligible to, if you're a large manufacturer or print shop and you have the need of bringing on 25 people, that's the cap right now. You have the eligibility to train and bring on 25 people and partner with the state, and the grant total would be $150,000.
Right. So it's a $6,000 per trainee to a maximum of $150,000 available.
Yeah. And this grant's great too because it's built in for the onesies and twosies. Not everyone's going to need and be able to leverage that full grant. Yeah. So there's the ability to just do one or two with a local training provider, and that local then training provider would build in, capacity of into a current program or try to identify others who would take advantage of the program.
So this related instruction is an important point, because the training that's provided to that trainee, it needs to be within this recognized guideline that the pipeline program has disseminated, that we worked with them on getting approval along with our members.
Right.
Now, what options are people going to have as it relates to related instruction?
So specifically for press operators, as we know, historically a lot of these programs went away, but more or less the curriculum's still there. So we've asked some community colleges, we've reached out to some community colleges like South Central College, this is what we're doing, can you take a look at your older curriculum and let's try to build it within this framework. So they've dusted it off, they're looking at it, so that might be a viable option. But it also working with you, it seems as though Print Industry Midwest is moving into this space as well with other national affiliates to build a nationally recognized credential, which is the other piece here.
Right. I do think that that's going to be the most viable related instruction tool for our members is the apprentice program that Printing Industry Midwest is developing, along with another Printing Industries of America affiliate, PIA Mid-America. This joint partnership is in the development of an apprentice program that is also approved using some of the same guidelines, but it's going to expand upon that and be a much more broader program. While this is a press operator, very specific program, the apprentice program is going to include all of the elements of that and also include bindery as well and become more of a production press technician. So it's going to have a broader availability and access into more types of print operations. This program is in development right now, as you know. We look to have hopefully a late summer, early fall beta launch of this new apprentice program. It's being supported out of the Printing Industry Education Foundation in the development of a learning management system, because as you said, the dual training component of this means there will be an on-the-job specific component, and then there's will be a classroom, which in this case is going to be an online classroom.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exciting. We personally, from what I've seen, it looks like the equivalent to NIMS, which is great, nationally recognized credential for other manufacturers, so that you're taking this leadership and building this, it's going to just be a nationally recognized credential, which all your employers will come in a time understand what that is and what those individuals who show up at their door have the capability of.
Exactly. And beyond that, there are a couple of other options from a related instructor. We don't have to get into all those options right now, but for support in filling out this application and understanding all the capabilities and from a training perspective, you are also making your service available inside of our workforce consulting program. You and your partner, Jess Niebuhr, are now working with a number of our members, helping them understand all the options that are available to them inside of workforce development.
Right.
The application process of this pipeline grant is just one of them, right?
Correct. And we love the opportunity to meet with your employers and let them know about the full suite, but the timeline for this is pretty important, and so maybe some additional services might be needed to make sure we hit those timelines. And so what the timeline is right now is April 1st, just this Friday. OHE, the Office of Higher Ed, will now announce to the public that anyone who's interested in submitting an application for pipeline related programming, to get that in by May 17th. Right. So your members now will have a month and a half essentially to put together this application. Now the good news is the application is meant in statute by the legislature to make it very employer friendly. It's not that long, but there are some nuances in there that being able to walk through with someone might be beneficial. The state is also a great resource, so definitely I know you'll be working with your members to pass along those contacts to them, but the Office of Higher Ed should be considered a resource, as well as Department of Labor and Industry, and the leader of that program, as well as the consultants that work for that lead.
Great. And certainly more information can be found at this at pimw.org/workforce. And we'll have all of the links that you'll need to download the application, connections of how to complete it, if you have more questions. And of course, contact information for our Director of Education, Chris Davis. So Dave, great to be with you.
Yeah,
Thank you for all your support and help in making this a reality. And we're really excited. We're on the road to making a real difference.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you next time.